What was that?
Oh, well, what was that? Welcome to another episode of the Shop and Tread Talk podcast. We've got Frank and Margarita here today. Thank you
And
for
Sherlock.
joining us. Oh, who else do we got there?
Sherlock's joining us today.
There you go. Future Tech.
Future tech right there, yeah.
So on today's episode, before I get into it, just wanted to mention last week's episode we had some technical difficulties and the file got corrupted. It went online actually for I think half a day, or I think it was maybe like 3 or 4 hours, and then I'm not sure what happened, but unfortunately, that episode is no can do.
No more. It's gonna
So
be.
yeah, we had a great guest on there, but yeah, here we are today. We've got two familiar faces, and today's topic. Actually, Frank, I don't know if it was you or Margarita had the idea today, but I think the idea, when's a good time to hire? Because a lot of shops, some of them are one man shows, some of them are two people. I shouldn't say one man show anymore. One
There's
person
hardly
show
any of those
or a
anymore.
person show, but sometimes if you completely don't spread out your day, or if you overbook yourself, you could feel like you may need an extra person. You may not, right? It really depends on that particular shop situation. So not every shop's going to need more than a few people, right, Frank?
And even the days, sometimes just one day can be like so overwhelming. You're like, oh man, I wish I could have like three more people. And then it's the next day, it's like, what am I doing with all these people? I can't. So yeah, we're really in the thick of that right now. We've hired, we have hired, and now comes the thought of, did we do the right thing? Was it the right time? And what's going to happen? Like, we're ramping up to the busy season right now, but what's going to happen when slow season comes? And are we going to be able to keep everyone going and working? And that's what's going through my head. Margarita here, she thinks that, stop overthinking it. So
I'm with her.
I just
Margaret, what do
think
you think?
that, like, if it's going to be anything that like this last year, we have one probably going to end up going back to school in October, and then we'll still have two techs and Frank in the shop. I think we're going to be pretty busy still.
I like the positive outlook, because really the shop, correct me if I'm wrong, the shop's only going to be as busy as you want it to be.
Yep.
I mean, I know, again, funny thing is, I've only met you guys in person
one,
once, and the amount of time that we've spoken on the podcast and everything, Frank, like, I know how hard both of you work, especially Margarita. Frank, you're lagging a bit, but that's okay.
this is
But
true. This is true.
that's why your hands are still covered in God knows what right now, because you're still
It's
working.
paint. It's paint.
But
Yeah, a can blew up in my hand.
but the amount of hard work you guys put in, you're only going to be as busy as you as hard as you work. Really, I mean, if you're marketing and you're bringing in those new customers and you're getting the referrals, you're going to be as busy as you can be, because at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do. And if you feel like you're getting too busy, spread it along the days. Some days that are a bit slower later on in the week, or even next week, try to fill it up and keep it so you guys don't stress yourselves out, right? That was kind of the whole point, from my understanding of you getting an extra person in the garage, is take a little stress off your mind, so you can relax a little bit, as funny as it sounds.
The relaxation hasn't come yet, has it?
No, and didn't want him working, or I didn't want to work from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. all summer. There's more things I want to do in the summer than just work all the time.
That's what last year was. We worked like a lot of late nights, and it's like, then you go home at 8 o'clock at night, and you're trying to make dinner,
Yep.
and you just make dinner and go to bed, and it's like, there's more to life than that. And I like working. I'm a workaholic, but I'm not that bad. Like, I don't want to work all day, 24 hours a day, right? I want to be there for my family. I want to be there for my friends, and just enjoy some time other than just wrenching all the time. I love wrenching, but there's got to be a limit to it.
Of course. I mean,
You
there's only so much you can do, right? Like, there's so many hours in the day, and you didn't get into this business to always be at the shop. I mean, you have, you've got kids, and you've got, birthdays coming up, and this coming up, and Margarita just turned 21 years old.
Yeah, I know, right?
I
Like,
wish, I wished, I
yeah,
wished.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
It was yesterday.
Yesterday.
yesterday. Yep.
I mean, you're legally allowed to drink in the States at 21, so congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
slightly past that, but still just as chipper.
life's short, and we don't want to have most of our memories to be in the shop, right? I mean, it's not fair to the family and friends, really, right? Because work is there. It's going to be there in the morning. And I, again, sometimes there's extenuating circumstances. Like, I know you were up late, fixing up that car the other night, and I know you didn't want to be doing that, but again, there's extenuating circumstances that
Like,
sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
yeah, I mean, it happens, right? And then there's always those things that, like you said, we have the employees, but there's some things that they just can't do. There's only certain things that I've trained them to do. So until I train them to do these other things, then I'm the one that has to do it.
Yeah.
And now with the new hire that we have, um, he's really good
Yeah.
with doing drivetrain stuff. But the
Yeah.
place that he worked at before, that's all they had him do, engine transmission work. And he didn't get to experience diagnostic. He didn't get to experience, like some, right? But not
Yep.
much. And he didn't. So now, like, I have to train him on some of the other things because I don't want him just to do engine transmissions all day long. We have other work to do. And
Definitely.
so once I get all the employees trained to do what we need them to do, then
Yeah.
yeah, then the time's going to be where I can sit back and I can relax a little bit more, and the show can kind of run itself on that part. But then in the office, right? Then Margarita is kind of in the same boat. Like, you're training you're training one right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, in the office, I like fresh blood. I don't like somebody that's come from a different shop that has bad habits. I
Yep.
like to train them the way that I want them to do things.
You want them
And like I
green.
said, and this way, when Frank and I are away, we don't have to close the shop. We can actually have the shop still going while we're away and making us money instead
Yep.
of everybody just sitting on their hands waiting for us to get back. So that's going to be nice.
That's like
And
that
then
conversation we had the other day. You're looking for a service manager, a service writer, and that's why I said to you, you probably their best bet to do what we did is hire someone who has no experience in it whatsoever, has
that's what
customer
I'm
service
doing.
experience, and train them from there. Because then you can take like clay and mold them to what you want them to be, instead of
That's
taking a tree that somebody else has made and try to reshape it into what you want it to be.
that's literally what I'm doing. I mean, I'm literally searching for anyone that has like a amazing personality, that likes to talk to people and provide unreasonable hospitality. That's what
Yeah,
it all comes down to, right? Because at the end of the day, the customer that's coming in to get an oil change or get their brakes done, they may not even understand fully what their work order is, but the person that's explaining it to them, they got to be the ones to make sure that the customer is fully aware, like, look, you're spending X amount of dollars on this, and your money, your hard-earned money, is being spent on this, not just hey, Mr. Smith, your bill is $652. Is that going to be Visa or debit? It's like,
yeah.
I don't want it to be. And Frank, and you and I have had that conversation before, that we don't want the business to be very transactional. Like, we want it to be more personal. Like, the people that come into our shops, like, they're they're coming to our shop when they could be going to any other shop. So that
Mhm.
means something.
Exactly.
But yeah, I know, like the girl that I have now, they were customers at our shop, and with me just interacting with them, I kind of got to know her and what she was like, and I'm like, well, you know what? I can train this girl to do what I want. She
Yep.
works in customer service now, so she knows how to be in customer service. Yes, she has no knowledge of cars, she has no knowledge of anything,
Better that way.
but I'm training her slowly, and I'm told her just observe what David and I are doing, And then from there, you will learn to do the exact same thing we're doing, and everybody will be happy.
The transactional part, which is a byproduct of the business. I mean, we have to make transactions. Like, that's what we do. We fix cars and we give the customer a receipt, but that's a byproduct of the actual relationship aspect of what we're doing. Like when someone's coming in, like I was saying, they're coming in to get their vehicle fixed by Frank or whoever is in the garage, right? So I mean that means something. That there's a huge value to that. It's not just I'm going to 3D Auto and they're gonna fix my car. It's like no, Frank's gonna take care of me, Margarita's gonna take care of me, and the car's gonna be done. I mean that means that it's not just a transaction. I mean, you guys are selling yourself, if as funny as that sounds, right?
Well, I know a lot of our customers, they'll bring their car and they'll go and talk to Frank and be like, oh, this and this and this is wrong with my car.
Yep.
And then they'll come in and bring me keys. Well, I already talked to Frank. He knows. But what they don't understand is just because he is the mechanic and he is the man and we are not, doesn't mean
No.
that he sees five, six, seven,
man.
8 cars. He's
Yep.
not going to remember what you told him. He's just going to be like, and then, and I told a customer that today, and they're like, no, he's not like that. And I'm like, well, you
I'm
don't
exactly
know.
like that. I'm
You don't
100%
know.
like that.
You don't know how many cars he sees, and they all kind of get jumbled in his brain. And I
Yep.
said to Frank, if we're going to have customers like that, I'm just going to stop asking. And then when it comes to that, I'm going to be like, well, he doesn't know what to fix on your car because you didn't tell the service
No,
writer what needs to be done.
yeah, they'll literally approach me as I'm walking through the parking lot to go and pick another car or I'm doing something, and they'll approach me in the middle of the parking lot and try to hand me the keys. I'm like, no, I don't take any keys. I said, I lose keys. I don't take any keys. So then they'll tell me about it. And I said, okay, but you have to go in the office
Yep.
and tell them and give them the keys. But then when they go in the office, they're like, oh, I already talked to Frank. And then, yeah, that happened today. And she's like, no, you have to tell
He
me what
still
it.
wouldn't.
Oh, well, then I guess something isn't going to get done because I don't remember what he said. Because I'm in the middle of doing something. I'm not going to stop. I
Yep.
mean, I should, but that's not my job. My job is to do something. My job isn't to take that information. That's their job. That's what they're in there for. And they'll write it down because I if I don't write shit down, I forget.
Yep.
So I tell customers, I said, I don't take keys. I don't price anything at all. I fix the cars. If you have any information, you have to go through the office, talk to them, give them information, and they'll get it from me if they need it. But man,
One.
it's so hard to train customers to do that because, like you said, they want to come and shop and get it fixed by Frank.
Yep.
That's fine, but Frank doesn't fix everything. And a
No.
lot of the stuff is done in the office and stuff. There's stuff that they do I don't even never notice or see or something like that.
So sometimes what it comes down to, and it's funny because I kind of had that same situation where, well, like you guys have met my dad and everything, and he, I'm basically writing all the service and everything, and sometimes like we'll get his friends coming in and they want to get something fixed on their car, and like I'm there, I'm the one that's kind of like first thing I do is okay, I need your first name, last name, and I start making a work repair order, and they're kind of looking at me like, well, I'm gonna deal with your dad, and he's gonna give me a better deal. Like we don't need to put anything on the computer, and I'm like, oh nope, no, everything's going through here, and
Yeah.
then I already know that customer's coming, so I'll tell dad, I'm like, look, you better let them know that they're gonna get something through the computer, and dad just tells them, actually, I'm semi-retired, I'm only here for fun.
And customers need to understand that there's a chain of command. Like you don't go to a restaurant and go up to the chef and say I need to order a steak. The
Yeah,
chain of command is you sit down, a waitress comes and asks you, you
yeah.
give them the order, and they go and relay it. And I don't understand why people think that in a garage you can just bypass that person and that chain of command.
They
And
don't understand that, like, it's not about like pops is going to give a better deal or whatever it is. Like my dad and I are on the same page when it comes to customers that
yeah,
yes, we can give deals and we can give discounts and stuff, but there is a limit, and sometimes that limit gets pressed and pressed by certain customers, and it gets to a point where it's like, is it even worth doing the job?
right.
Are we just going to be stepping over dollars to pick up pennies, like Lucas Underwood would say? But
There was That reminded me of a shop that I worked for. There was a man that came in. He was a customer there, but he was also another businessman from another business. And he saw what was happening at the shop, and he saw that the man I was working for was a very micromanager.
Yep.
And he said, you know what? His problem is that he's worried about making $5.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be his problem. His problem shouldn't be thinking about how am I going to make $5. He should be thinking about how I'm going to make $500, how I'm going to make $1,000, and give you the job of figuring out how you're going to make $5 and how you're going to make $10. And I'm like, damn, you know what? That's so smart, because if I sat there all day long and thinking, man, you know what, I should really charge an extra 50 cents on that bulb, and think about that all day long, instead of thinking about how can I get this job done that's going to pay me 5 hours of labor or something like that. And
You know,
and you got to have people in place to do that kind
yeah.
of stuff. Like that's why I'm just gonna raise up the office staff. Like that's what I shouldn't have to worry about, those kind of things. All I'm there to worry about is how can I fix the vehicles that are brought in
Yeah.
that have already been quoted out and stuff like that. I shouldn't have to worry about all the quoting. That's why we have people in place for that. That's why we have office staff that do that kind of stuff. That's their speciality. My speciality is not freaking pricing parts or pricing jobs. I don't do that.
No, and there, like you
Yeah,
said,
but we have to
there's a chain
train
of command,
customers.
right?
Yeah, but
We
we
have to
we
train
have
our
to,
customers
again.
to
Yeah,
how our chain of command is.
Yep.
yep.
And
Everyone has a job, right?
yeah, and most of our regular customers know our chain of command, and like they already come to the office. Like even delivery guys, they'll drop the parts off in the shop, but they'll come and see us because now that we were hogging Bay One for a while, and we kind of annoyed them so much that they miss us now that
Yeah, yeah,
we're not there. So and it's just the new customers. They're used to certain shops. You can just walk right in, talk to
yep.
mechanics. You don't have to deal with office staff, and they just have to learn that our shop is a little bit different than that.
Well, and
So
that's the general aspect of most shops nowadays. But the thing is, people are still so ingrained on the idea that they want to talk to the mechanic directly,
I,
especially
I
in a
had
small
I
town
had
like
it
Vancouver.
happen. I had it happen today. We had a customer come in. I guess they were just in for a lube oil filter, and one of the garage doors was open because one of my guys just brought a car out, and he usually one of the guys would just shut it, but he was bringing another one right in. So the door's open. So the guy walks in the garage, and my guys know, unless it's dad, my dad's brothers, uh, my dad's friends that are retired, that are here throughout the week, and like very close family people, like they're not supposed to be in the garage. And I told them I won't get upset with you if you tell them you got to go, because we've got WSIB, and we've got all these insurances we pay, and I'm not gonna put my business on the line for someone walking around with flip flops, tripping and falling on something, right? Like, it doesn't work that way.
You know what's a
Well,
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Our insurance lady came by a while ago and she said, if you're going to allow people to come into your shop that are not working, and if they get hurt, we won't insure you. Like, we will not pay for that lawsuit because they should have never been there in the first place. So I tell people, you know what? If you walk in that shop, I'm not insured. So you can't be there.
It's very rare that we have customers come in the shop. Now, if I do, I bring them in and they're standing away from the vehicle, and I'm right next to them, and I'll be like, "Look, we sent you the DVI, and this is what's going on with it. I kind of just wanted to show you in person, how serious this is." And a few minutes, and then right after that, I escort them right out the garage because there's no reason for them to be in there anymore.
Yeah. What I was going to say earlier is a good remedy for people walking into the shop is, like, obviously we have chains that we put across in the summertime. We put
Yep.
across the door a chain, and you just don't go past that. But I have automatic doors, so you got
Oh, okay.
you got a door fob. You open the door, and as you're run the car out, the door is closing. I actually had last summer. Last winter, I guess. I was running a car in, and I could see the customer was intending to walk in, and I already pushed the button to close the door. They ran into the door. I'm like, like
Where's the video, Frank? Tell me you got it on video.
I don't have camera set up yet, but that would have been such a great video.
Oh
Like,
man.
oh man, it's just like it's like no, you don't understand. Like, don't follow me into the garage. And if they
That
do happen to get in there, I just politely shoo them out. Say you're not allowed in here. I'm sorry, and
that would
outside.
have been the video that beat out my snow
I
video on TikTok. That would have been it.
I think so. I
Well,
think so.
we had a customer a couple weeks ago came into the shop, wanted to talk to Frank about his car that he had in the shop, and I said, "Well, the clock is ticking. The car's in the shop. You want him to come out? The, I'm still charging the same amount of time, whether he's standing in here and talking, shooting the shit with you, or whether he's working. Well, I need to tell him. I said that's why I'm here for. You can tell me." He can keep working over there, but if you want him to come here, you're still paying me time for him to stand here and talk to you.
So,
And then
yep.
it changes there too. And most of the time when people call, can I talk to Frank? I said, no, he's busy. What can I help you with?
Yeah.
So if you think on that, that's actually a good point. Like our topic is when's a good time to hire. Let's say Frank, if it was just you and one other person in the garage, right? And you guys are busy for the whole day, and now every half an hour, a customer comes to Margarita, says they want to talk to you, and they won't leave until you come out. So now you stop what you're doing and you come out, and let's say you did that 8 times in a day. At the end of the day, you may think like,
That's
oh man,
hours.
like I think we need another person because I'm running all over the place. But it's not that. It's a lot of the times it's the customers that are not letting you do your work, and they're not, again, following the chain of command. That okay, if you have something that you want to relay to Frank, Margarita's there. She's gonna talk to you, and whatever it is, I'm writing down the notes. And as soon as I click this button, Frank sees it in the back when he gets a minute.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have a friend that runs a shop all by himself. It's just him. He doesn't
Yep.
have anyone in there to do the paperwork, answer the phone, nothing. He does it everything himself.
Yep.
And I'm like, and if that was me, I'd probably get maybe one or two jobs done a day. Like you get one brake job in the morning, you might get a suspension job in the afternoon, and that's it. That's all you would have time for between answering
That's tough.
phones,
Yeah.
pricing, and billing and stuff like that. And
You wouldn't even, because Monday we had no jobs booked for the rest of the week. We were like, Monday was all I had booked. By the end of the day, Monday, I had my whole week full. And now I'm booking into the next week. And we're at Tuesday, or is it Tuesday or Wednesday
it's
today?
Tuesday
It's
today.
Tuesday today. And
That's
we're
amazing.
booking into next week. And if you had to, like Monday, I think minimum we got like 20 calls in one day.
Yep.
And I'm like, how are we supposed to keep up with that? And even more, because David and I were on the phone almost the whole entire 8 hours we were there.
Yep.
And it was crazy. And I'm like, if Frank had to answer all of those phone calls, he would never get anywhere.
No, and then you're gonna get customers saying, "Well, why is my car taking so long?" It's like, look,
Mm-hmm.
you're now the ninth person today that has not followed what you're supposed to be doing is talk to the service advisor and let me do my work. Because if I didn't have to stop 8 times doing this one job, I probably would have had your car out a long time ago. But
I
this
got
is
a customer on Monday that called and wanted to know if we could write a. He had a safety last year, and now he was going to sell his vehicle, whatever it
Was it
was,
motorcycle?
or
Was
some.
it
I forget what it was, but yeah.
motorcycle?
And then he's like, "Well, can you like just write? Can I talk to Frank?" And I said, "Well, no, he's working. Like, you can talk to me." And then he's like, "Well, I'm just wondering if Frank might be able to write me a safety without charging me for it. Just write me a quick little safety." And I said, "It's not a quick little safety." I said, "Every time we put a safety through, it costs me money. Every time Frank has to do a safety, it's an automatic hour of his time." I
yeah,
said, "So no, it's going to cost you this." But if I would talk to Frank, he would let me have it for free. I said, "No, he wouldn't, because everything comes through my office." And I said, safeties have to, especially safeties, we have to keep track of every
yep,
single safety we wrote, every single safety that came through. I have to know all of these things. I said, no, he won't just quickly write you a safety. It's not, doesn't work like that in our business. And so he never brought it. He was going to go find someone else to write him a quick little safety.
yeah.
I'm like,
And again, those customers, I'm not sure if that's a customer that's been to you very often, but those are the customers that you don't want and you don't need because they're never going to be happy. And if they're asking for a quick little safety, they're never going to spend money with you.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that are going to come in for the oil change, and then you do inspection on the vehicle and he needs X amount of dollars stuff, and he's like, well, I got a guy in Mississauga that'll do it. Those are those type of customers, and those are the ones you got to fire, because if they don't trust you enough to do the work at your place, and they're going to go to some rando out in Brampton or Mississauga, and they're going to jack the vehicle up, in the center. Frank already knows what I'm talking about.
We had one of
And
those in today. This girl she got rooked.
I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, she took forever to find a job. When she finally found a job, she saved up all her money. She went and bought this 2011, no,
Oh.
2009 Honda CRV. Looked really nice. I put it up in the air and I said, there's no way I can safety this thing. It's so rotten. Her dad came in. She had been crying. And I'm like, I feel so bad. But he's like, it's not your fault. You're doing the job that you have to do. And I said, I am. And I just can't safety it. I couldn't even think about writing the safety and putting this young girl in it and being like, you know what, this is okay for you to have this car. And it was like, I felt so bad for her, but
was it
and
like
she was
rockers,
really,
or was it rusted out?
yeah. Well, the Honda CRV has that problem where they rot out by the rear control arms where it
Yeah,
goes into the frame. And Honda actually has a recall on it where they take this little L bracket and bolt it on there so that when it does let go, that the arm doesn't fly away. And it's that bad. And it's like, this is insane. And it already had those brackets on there. And I'm always like, no, this thing is beyond repair. I said, well, nothing's beyond repair. You take it to the right person, spend the right amount of money, anything can be repaired. But is it worth it? I said, it's probably not worth it. He's like, yeah, she already spent $6,500 buying this thing. I'm like, holy
See,
cow.
and in those instances, I wish I had a little petty cash fund that I could draw from and help this poor girl out, because she moved here from Central America and she's fine. She saved up from last year of May to
oh my
today to be
god,
able to buy this car because it took her so long to find a job. And then now this happens to her. Like, it's just so unfair. I wish, like I said, I wish I had like a GoFundMe or something that I could help her buy a car, because I feel horrible for her.
that's brutal.
And we see that all the time. We had that truck last year.
Yeah.
The girl got ripped off like that.
Yeah.
And honestly, we see it so often. And it's like, man,
And people are, and there's no way that guy didn't know. And then the vehicle also had engine problems. So this was just a money pit. And this guy was like, oh yeah, I just got it safety last year. There should be nothing wrong with it.
Of course.
He knew that there was something wrong with it.
Well, that's why you're selling. You're buying someone else's junk, right? And that's, even my customers, when they're buying vehicles, and I've told them, like, hey, you need to bring that vehicle in for a pre-inspection, like before you buy it.
muted.
Like, bring it over and let me take a look at it. And some of my really good customers, I'm like, look, just drive it over here, let me even look at it from the outside for 5 minutes, like, because I can give you somewhat of an idea if I see something that's off, or
Yeah. Yeah.
bring me the Carfax for it, let me look at the Carfax, do some sort of research on this investment. But once you buy it and he signs that ownership over to you, and
It's yours.
it's done.
Yeah. Yeah. You're stuck with it. Yeah. It should just be mandatory that you have to take a vehicle for pre-inspection before you purchase anything. Like, I mean,
And
I
I know we're
understand why you want it, you sell as is, but man, customers should just be understanding that before you hand over the cash, take it to someone, a professional that you
Yep.
trust, and get it looked at.
Because
I know we're
sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I know there was another person recently. They said they were going to go buy a car, and they had said, oh, let me go call my mechanic and I'm going to take it over there before I pay you. And the guy had just ghosted them.
Yep.
And so they knew. And I said, sometimes just saying those words
Yep.
is enough to scare the shady guy that's trying to get rid of his garbage.
Yep.
instead of scrapping it out like he should. He's selling it for big enough money. It's
Yeah.
just sad.
Yeah, I know we're getting off topic and everything, but the on this thing, the one thing I will say is I really wish they would do the mandatory yearly safeties on passenger vehicles,
Yes, very
because
much so.
I really think that would
Huge
get rid
advocate.
of a lot of the junk that's on the road. That people are driving some of these vehicles on the same roads as you and our families and everything, and they shouldn't even be crossing over the driveway from where they're parked.
Yeah.
Well,
So
and the only way to change it is if we as shops get a petition and we start going around and like we all as shops stand together and say this has to happen. And I
yeah.
think we need to present it to our Ontario premier and be like, this needs to change.
But then we'd have to hire people for that too.
It's fine.
Or we hire enough people so that we can do that.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
can go around and start advocating in Elmer, and then we'll go to Waterloo and do it there.
So if they did mandatory safeties, then we would know that this is a great time to hire.
Yep. More
So
people.
that would actually create more jobs. And
Every time I talk about that online, everyone's always like, "Oh, you just want more work." Like, man, dude, I got enough work. Like, I don't need more work right now. I will eventually. We're always looking for work at some point, right? But man, we're swimming in work,
no, but
and
Frank, it's
it's
not
not like,
about getting more work. Like if someone asked me, if I told them, "Yo, mandatory safeties," I think it'd be great, and they go,
oh,
you just want to make more money. I was like,
just want to
sure
take
I
more
do. Of
money out of my
course I want to
pocket.
make more money. But do you think I'm going to be able to do all the safeties in Ontario? No. I'll get some runoff. I'll get some here and there, but that's not the point of it. Of course, it's going to bring in revenue to the province. It's going to bring in revenue to all the shops, 100%. But the revenue is not the point. You're getting all those shit boxes off the road.
Well, and
That's the
not only
point.
that, but the customers need to understand that a it'll keep, yeah, like you say, garbage off the road, but the stuff that's preventable will stay preventable, and you'll keep on top of your maintenance. And then,
Yes.
yeah, okay, the first couple of years would be like a huge abundance of stuff and work and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
But after that, it would be like the customers would all of a sudden understand, be like, oh wow, my repair costs have gone down this year
Yeah.
compared to the last 3 years. Like,
But then also you would have to have MTO that are after. They'd have to hire actual decent MTOs. That something I was saying the other day is you're doing safeties and they see you put the safety in the tablet. They wait till you have it completed and they said there will be an MTO officer there in 30 minutes to come and make sure that the safety you just did was actually done properly so that none of these fake safeties come out anymore. I think
Well,
that would be huge if they
oh,
would
I
have.
thought you said that's what happened to you. I'm
No,
like, oh
we
man.
need to. We need to have that. I would love that.
yeah, but in order for that to happen, they'd have to hire. They'd
I
have to hire
know.
so many. When the tablet safety started, I talked to an MTO and I said, "Is an annual safety ever going to happen?" He said, "It can't in Ontario." He said, "We don't have enough shops, we don't have enough mechanics, and we don't have enough MTO officers to enforce it to make it happen." He
Yeah,
said,
but it
Even if they
could
did like
happen.
It's not possible."
every 2 years or something like that, because it'll
You
give people time. Like let's say if you knew that next year you need to get safety, little by little you can start doing a bit more to get your car up to snuff, and then by the time that safety comes, then it's not going to be a big hit. But a
no,
lot of
you
What
customers
does
don't
Ray
leave their
always say?
vehicles till
I
they're
know.
about to break down.
His
Yeah.
motto that he said the
You'd
other day.
you'd have to hire a lot of people. Like there would have to be a lot more garages. Like in Elmer alone, I think there's like 10 garages, and if all of those if had to hire another 4 people
Yep.
just to keep going,
Where'd you find the people?
right?
Yeah.
Where do you find the people? Where are you going to find that? Like as it is, as you know, it's hard enough to find one person.
Well, even if they
It's
didn't
less
do
hard to
safety
find four
inspections,
now.
like in North Carolina and different. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and I think in North Carolina they have the inspections. I think it's 13 or $20 or something like that, where they basically get the vehicle up and they just take a very quick look and just make sure that it's somewhat sound to be on the road. I mean, even something like that.
Yeah.
Like if a car comes in and it has bald tires and uh, the windshield's cracked. Even something as small, I use that with air quotes, as that, they would fail because that's something that they'd have to get fixed. There's major things.
Hmm.
But then you also have shops that would go and even if they didn't find something wrong, that they would make something wrong just so that they could make a buck. And like that's also one of the reasons people don't trust mechanic shops because people like that.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to what we were saying about hiring, I mean, that's the thing. The stigma is different wherever, in different provinces and different areas. Like some people, mechanics, they're always out there to get the money, get your money. The mechanics are just going to screw you here and there. But that also doesn't help when it comes time for us to try and find people to come work in our industry, because they may have been tainted by somebody in the past as well, and they're like, you know what, I don't want to be in that kind of field because my dad got hosed by some guy up north for a couple $1,000 and he didn't need it, so you know what, I don't want to be in that kind of industry. So if we don't try and change that stigma, which I think the industry has changed a lot and it's not like it was, but if we don't continue to provide the excellent service, it's going to be tough to get people to come work in this industry from a young age. Because what happens at a young age, Frank, I'm sure you'll agree, is you get these kids coming into dealerships and after out of high school, and they get put into the tire bay. So then they're doing tires and they want to be mechanics, but they never get that chance to actually go up in the ranks. So they do tires for a year, that turns into 2 years, turns into 4 years, and then they just get tired of it. That, you know what, I quit. I'm just gonna do something else. But if that person would have got a chance to actually become an apprentice or do something other than that, that could have been the next great mechanic. But a lot of places don't give them the chance. They just wash them out with tires and make them hate the industry, and then they end up being an accountant or something else. But in the back of their mind, they're probably thinking, "Man, I really could have enjoyed working with my hands and being a mechanic."
Well, that reminds me. We have the co-op student. One of the co-op teachers came in today, and he saw that Frank was letting our co-op student work on vehicles. Well, mind you, with supervision, but he was letting him do things. And he said, "You know what? I just came from, I think he said two or three other shops, and he said all the kids there have done is push a broom." He's like, they haven't taken the tire off. They've not been allowed to touch a tool. They've not been not allowed to do anything but sweep. And he's like, this is why a lot of these kids don't want to work in the industry because all they think is, well, I'm going to work here and all I'm going to have to do is sweep all day.
Yeah.
It's hard enough. It's hard enough to have to get people in the industry. So when you find someone that actually wants to do some of the work, don't just stick them in a spot where they're going to hate it. Like you said, get them involved in it. Get them knowing about everything. Like I say, when I have a co-op student come in, even if it's just a co-op student, I know there's going to be there for 2 months. The first thing I teach them is what a torque wrench is, how to use a
Oh
torque
yeah.
wrench, and then I teach them how to put a car on the hoist and take off wheels, take apart brakes
Oil
and
changes.
oil changes and put brakes back together and torque it and put wheels on. Like they need to know these things. And that's usually the very fundamentals of what I teach them. And once they learn how to torque, tighten a bolt properly and all that kind of stuff, man, the rest of it just kind of falls into place. And then after that, the training is easy, especially with kids that want to be there. So if you have young kids out of the high school that want to learn and that want to be in the industry, don't push them into a corner and give them a broom and say that's all you're good for,
And I
or put
mean,
them on tires. Give them
even
work to do. Show them what the
even
industry is. Show them how much fun. I tell my people. I said, like, sometimes I regret my decision,
yeah.
but other days, man, I love my job. For the last 30 years, I've loved my job. I still do. I enjoy it.
Do you
It's
really?
I do.
With me there?
Yeah, you're a little bit of a struggle, but we make it work.
I'm told I'm bad luck because when I ask the guys how much longer before the vehicle's done, they always tell me I'm bad luck, and then I get chewed out of the shop.
Yeah, no, don't come and ask that. But it's a fun trade, and when people actually want to come in and do it, then why not give them the opportunity?
but even if if a kid or somebody comes in and work for you, the one simple question that you can ask them that I bet they never get asked is, what do you want to know, or what do you want to learn? I mean,
Yep.
what interests you? I mean, that person could all of a sudden be like, oh, in my spare time, I like taking cordless tools apart and looking at all the wires and seeing what this does. I mean, you would never known that. Or they may be someone that actually is really into technical things or diagnostic of something or the other. But again, if you don't ask these questions of what their actual interests are, they are just going to sweep, and they are going to get tired of the industry, and they're not going to get to experience on they're not going to get to experience how much fun it could be.
I
They're
think
just going to be exactly what you said, is broom sweepers. That's it.
yeah, I think the key to hiring, especially for in the shop, is hiring someone that has a desire to fix something, whatever it is. Like you said, it could be an electric tool. It could be like in the case of the co-op student I have now, he rides dirt bikes and he knows how to fix his dirt bike and work on his dirt bike. Or the kid that had before him, electric scooters. That was his thing. He would buy electric scooters and take them apart and fix them up and sell them. And that was his thing, and he loved it. So once you have that mechanical mindset, the rest of it comes pretty naturally.
Well, you were saying you were looking for help in the office. Why don't you reach out to your local high school and have a grade 12 student come and you start training them like while they're in co-op, and then once you have them mostly trained, you could hire them on for the summer and see how they do.
I think I can only have one. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't count because I've got one
It wouldn't count as
apprentice.
an apprenticeship.
No, but that's what I mean. Like a lot of shops don't realize that, or offices don't realize you can utilize all of these young people to come in your office and work for you in the office too.
Yeah,
And yet they never get the chance to, because that part of the industry gets overlooked. You could
Yeah,
hire amazing service writers right out of high school. You have them for 2 months, train them. If you then feel like they have potential, you can keep them. If they don't, you don't think they have potential, you move on to the next one. Like I've often thought of that. Like
you're
yeah.
right. If you went there and asked for somebody that was looking to go into office administration or something
or
like
somebody
that,
that has really good computer skills, the rest of it's trainable.
yeah,
Definitely. And
yeah,
I think that one thing that our industry lacks is, that's actually a good idea, Margaret. I'm actually going to look into that probably next week. But one
art.
thing is, a lot of people think that, good employees, or I should say good team members, are just going to fall in your lap. I mean, it doesn't work that way. You really have to go out and search
We got
and
lucky.
find people
Yeah,
that care. I mean, we don't want to just hire anyone, because then you're going to get a dud, and that
Oh,
person's not going to care about the vehicles like you do, right?
yeah,
but
exactly.
both of ours that we just hired landed in our laps.
Well, technically not. We did do it for the mechanic. We did do an interview. The first guy that we interviewed was a hard no, and this it was a hard no. But then this guy walked in like not even 10 minutes later. I just finished the interview, and then this guy walked in and he said, "Oh, I hear you're looking for a mechanic." I'm like, "Thank you." And yeah, no, dude, we had a good talk. We had a good interview, and I'm like, I think this is a potential. Then she wasn't there at the time. We called him back for a second interview, and then she interviewed him, and she's like, "Yeah, this is gonna work." And yeah, it was just that was just like lucky. Like we were so fortunate
Yeah,
for
but
that.
and
But that
also
doesn't always happen, right? Like you
No, it
said,
doesn't.
sometimes you just gotta look and look and look.
yeah, but I also look at the team, like our team dynamic. Like I get
Yeah,
to know every one of our employees.
The
So when I
culture,
hire another employee, if it doesn't work with the team dynamic, or I don't think that
hundred
it's going
percent.
to work with the team dynamic, there's no point in bringing this guy in for 3 months and wasting everyone's time. But
100%.
the same thing with office staff. Like I knew this girl was going to be good with my other office staff.
Yep,
When I was talking to her and her boyfriend at the time, I think it was, all three of us were, goofing around, having a good time, laughing, talking. I'm like, you know what, this dynamic is going to work, because if
yep.
you get somebody that's just like, I'm just going to sit in my
Rigid.
corner and work and don't talk to me and
Yeah,
don't like that just makes everyone's life miserable.
yeah,
No,
very.
whoever you hire has got to match the culture, or bring something to it. Not even just match it. Bring some kind of feeling or some kind of attribute to the culture of the shop, because you know what, if you have someone that comes in that brings down the whole culture, and you come to work the next day, you're like, "Oh, man, this is just, it's not working," and you just feel like everyone else is being dragged down.
Mhm.
That's you got to stop the leak, right? Because you're going to end up corrupting the rest of your team, right?
Yeah,
Well, you have
100%.
one bad apple, and all of a sudden your whole entire bushel is bad, right? Like that's
It's
just how
all
it
it's all
goes.
about culture. The culture in the shop is very, very important. If you get happy team members, those team members are gonna spread the love to everybody, and it rubs off on all the customers. I mean, if they see that your team's happy, they come in to get the keys, and you can joke with your team members and say, hey, that car, we need it done today, and ha ha ha, like, you got to have that kind of rapport with them, where you can make a few jokes with them, but they know that when it comes time to work, it's time to work. But they're part of a family, not just people that you write a check to on Friday.
And also, like I said too, like with my team members, the other thing that is very important in the office setting for us is when I'm in the office and I hear one of my office staff is being verbally abused by a customer, I will pause that conversation right there and I will say, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Like I will deal with them. I do not allow customers to mistreat my employees at any
Nope.
given time. I tell a customer, I've had to do this numerous times now where they've been rude to our staff, and I take the phone and I said, look, this is not okay. I said, if
Yeah,
you want to be my customer, there is respect. If you have a problem, you talk to me. You do not criticize my staff. You do not do anything with my staff. You
exactly.
ask for me and I will deal with you. That is the only way that this works.
Yeah, you got to have your teams back. I mean, and they appreciate that too, right? Because they know that you're going to bat for them. Like, same with me. I wouldn't let anyone talk to my staff that way. And I'm like, look, if you got a problem, let's figure it out. But you're not going to be talking to them. And a matter of fact, when we're done with this conversation, we're done. I I, I don't even put up with it. I just fire the customer right away. I'm like, you know what? We're not a good fit. There's a lot of good shops in town. I think you better go visit them, because you're not welcome here.
Yeah.
I know we had one customer was really, really, really difficult on me. And like I was mentally drained. And I basically said to them when they came and got their vehicle, I said, you know what? I think it's best that we are done with this service. Like there's
Yeah,
other shops. Well, this customer now came back and was like, my vehicle needs brakes. Can you put brakes on my vehicle?
yeah.
And my office staff already knew what my stance was. So they put them on hold and said, are you okay with this? And I said, on one condition, that he's okay with my price. They're going to be okay with how we do the job. And they're not going to call and be like, well, I found that at this shop I got $10 less. So I want you to price match. I said, I don't need that.
Oh my god, price
Right.
match.
And
Oh,
and I don't
Imagine
need
though,
you
right?
going, well, your office staff said this and now you're saying this and why are you doing this and what I don't need that. You come in, I quote the job, you're either happy with it or you're not. No
yeah,
more of this back and forth and then screaming at me and hollering at me and trying to, carrying me into something. I'm like, no, I'm not. This is it. And I'm not going to go and buy one price at this supplier, one price at that supplier, and one over here.
yeah,
And then I'm supposed to warranty all of this and figure out, no, buy it from here. I might be $10 more than if I went and bought it from 20 different people. But at
exactly.
the end of the day, it's not worth it.
No.
No, I mean, you have to hold your ground, and if they don't like the way you do things, then kick rocks.
Exactly.
Like, I tell all my customers, if you have a complaint, my warranty department is 3D Auto. You can take all the warranty claims over there, and they'd love to take care of them, and it's all free of charge. I mean, it's great.
Hey, don't make too much fun. We actually did a job for a customer that lives in Waterloo.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
gee, it
but
wasn't my customer, was it?
no, it was our daughter's friend, and she was down here visiting, so we worked on her car. But
I did mention, by the way, that Ford Fusion I sold. They live in St. Thomas, so I gave them your contact info,
oh,
because
perfect.
they don't have a mechanics in that area. So
Yeah, yeah. I told this girl if she wanted to go for service to, like, for for regular service to come to see you. So we'll see
to
if
do
she
it
did.
wrong, right?
Yeah,
Well, see, and a lot of this young girl's problems could have been like avoided, so she didn't have such a massive bill had she done regular
yeah,
services and done
Yeah,
little things, right? Instead of waiting till it became a big thing.
yeah. It's a lot of it is, back me up if I'm wrong or let me know. But if you're taking your vehicle, and I use this term very loosely, to the wrong shop,
yep,
that's not fixing the vehicle. They're kind of like band-aiding it. Like you go in, I'm hearing a sound, and your brake pads are down to nothing. They'll throw a set of pads in for $60 cash,
yeah.
and then
Leave the rotor
it
the way
limps
it
you
is.
along a little longer, and then you end up at another shop that's not in the area, but you need something done, and all of a sudden they do inspection on it, and you need like 4 grand worth of work, and they freak out, and they're like, "Oh my god, like what's going on here?" And then they have in their minds like, "Do I actually need all this work, or do I go back to my other guy that's gonna fix whatever needs to be done for $40, $50?" Like, if those guys that are doing the cheap stuff keep doing this, you're not seasoning the customer to understand that your vehicle is going to cost money to maintain. Like these $40, $50 fixes, you're not helping anyone.
Or
All
a
you're doing is you're putting cash in someone else's hands, and that guy that's making the $40 here, $50 here ain't going to be around for long because you can't survive on that.
yeah, or the $40, $50 oil changes, right? Like, dude, the biggest issue that we see is cabin air filters. Like, if you
Yeah,
go to just somebody who doesn't do a full inspection and they do an oil change, yeah, you know what? Anyone can do an oil change, but if you're not going to check it out and actually look at things, you have no idea. Like, even this last week, we saw a cabin air filter. I think the car was a 2019 or something like that, and it had the original cabin air filter. It was black, like blacker than my hand, and it's unreal. It's unreal, and it's like, okay, well, here's a car that's 5 6 years old,
yep.
and no one has ever checked the cabin air filter until a customer complains and says, "Oh, I got this musty smell in my car." Oh shit, maybe we should check the cabin air filter,
It's
right?
beyond me. I mean, your job is to sell, service, and
Yeah,
inspect the vehicle. I mean,
yeah, and that's
easiest thing is a cabin
some
air
some
filter.
customers come across and say, "Oh, you're just trying to act for extra money." No, dude. You know what? If you don't put a filter in, that's on you. I don't care. I'm just letting you know you should probably change this before it starts to get moldy and musty and smelling in your car. Just here to
We're gonna give you a menu of things that are potentially wrong with your vehicle,
yep,
and it's your choice if you want to select the appetizer, the
main course.
add-ons, the main course, and if you want dessert, it's on the last page.
Yeah,
So you select what you want, sign here, and we'll do whatever you want. There's no pressure, but if you don't want to maintain your vehicle, hey, that's up to you. But our job is to just let you know, like, this is what's going on with your vehicle, whether you want to do it or not. That's our responsibility, right?
and if you train the people right, like you got your employees and you train them right to do that, you know what? You can do it in a very non-demeaning manner. You can do it in a very professional manner and say, "Listen, this is what we recommend for your vehicle. It's totally up to you whether you want to do it or not. But our recommendation is that you do this." And if they ask why, you say because of such and such, because
Yeah.
it can, at the end of the day, save you money.
And also don't be pushy about it.
Yeah, don't be.
People
Correct.
like information. They like to, like, we've got customers will call me like, "Hey, your car needs to give me 10 minutes. You know what? Take the time you need. I'll run your car out when you're ready. Let me know. We can
Yeah,
proceed." Right? And I know for the guys it sucks that
that's the
you
worst.
got the car up, they got the wheels off, whatever. But at the same time, you give that customer the time to mull things over and get their
Exactly.
finances organized, they'll always come back and then feel respected.
It goes back to how you like you're saying, how you train your staff. And if you get someone that's green margarita, like you were saying, you can train them the way that you want to train them, and they'll end up being a copycat of what you're saying, and then you have the confidence that, like, you can go out of town and do whatever you got to do, and this person's just going to take care of it, right?
Exactly.
And
But
then also you're having to have the patience to train someone that's green. That's
Mm.
that's the hardest part, I
but
think,
but
for
it all comes down to the type of owners that are going to be training these people as well. So if you've got owners that are disciplined and are running a shop in the right way, then that's how they're going to be passing on the information, right? So it starts at the top.
Yep.
Well, guys, that was a lot of fun, and I do appreciate you guys staying up. I know, Margarita, you're only 21 years old, so this is quite early for you. Uh, Frank,
At
20,
50, I'm getting a little bit tired.
23 and a half now. 23 and a half.
Yeah.
But as always, nice talking to you guys, and thank you everyone for joining us for another episode. Follow us on Facebook, Shop and Tread Talk Podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right, man. Have a good one.
See ya.